Welcome to the Draw Shop's Get Genius podcast, where we talk to today's business influencers to pick their brain and pull out their genius. It's time to get genius.
Hey guys, thanks for downloading another Get Genius episode. I'm super excited for you to hear our guest today. His name is Warren Lorenz, and he is the CEO and co-founder of TechMeetsTrader, which is a social community for active investors, something that's not currently being done in this industry, which is why I wanted to have him on the show. One, to talk about, disrupting an industry and doing something that these investors and traders really probably needed, whether they were asking for it or not. It was definitely something that they needed, and based on the results that he's getting and the engagement he's getting, they're really stoked that he's provided this platform for them. So we talk about that and starting it up, because it's important to hear stories of startups and the journey to get there. His journey began as a teenager. He's now 24 years old. And it's a really cool story how he became interested in finance and how he has raised quite a bit of money for a young bloke. Yes, he's pretty experienced in capital raising and the whole finance industry, trading, investing, leadership. He's got really sound advice on becoming a good leader and what that takes, and how to maintain a really good dynamic between you and your team, and that includes investors if you do have a startup. And we talk about the process of a startup, and especially when it comes to technology startups and building that, and how to stay on track, not get too overwhelmed, not try to get too big and get all feature happy, as I am noticing a lot of people doing when they go out to build platforms and apps and any kind of technology. So there's some really great advice on that, and also just, of course, experience. And I just found it really intriguing because he is only 24, and yet he has so much wisdom, and often we forget to look at these young entrepreneurs and what they're doing, and fail to realize that they can actually offer so much education and advice based on their experience, even if it hasn't been as long as our experience. And it's pretty fascinating and inspiring how he can learn from other failures within his circle, from family, friends, other influencers that he looks up to, and even his own. So it's a really good interview. It's about an hour long, and I think you're going to take away a lot, whether you are an investor or not. Just being an entrepreneur, a leader, and maybe somebody who is in that startup phase or looking to raise capital. You're going to get a lot out of it. Enjoy the interview, and of course, we will have links to everything that we talk about. Hey, Warren, welcome to the Get Genius podcast.
How's it going, Summer? Great to hear from you.
It's great to hear from you, too. I'm really looking forward to talking to you today because you have, I think you have a different industry than a lot of our other guests. So this is going to be awesome. And of course, like many of our guests, you're doing something that's totally different in your industry.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but before we get into all of that good stuff, I want to kind of talk about Warren 10 years ago and what you were doing and what brought you to what you're doing today.
So 10 years ago, that's a great question, Summer. I guess I was, 14, and I was working construction in my summers and playing hockey, lacrosse every single day. I was a competitive athlete, and I was just a normal average kid. I was decent at school, not spectacular, but athletics was really my passion. It kind of taught me really how to be self-motivated, trying to work towards a goal and work as a team. So I was 10 years ago a little rambunctious, and we've settled down now, thank God. But yeah, so yeah.
So how did you get interested in the world of investments and corporate financing?
Right. So as I mentioned before, when I was working construction, my father, he had me working construction actually since I was 4 years old during my summers. It started with walking around the entire job site that he would have, and I'd have to pick up cigarette butts so I'd never smoke. And then I graduated to working in a mechanic shop and doing mechanical work and whatnot. And ultimately, throughout the summers, I had saved up, a good sizable portion of funds. So when I was 16, I was a junior in high school. I had my parents co-sign for me on a brokerage account because I was injured in lacrosse, and I was actually tore my ACL and my meniscus. And I remember being in the bed of the hospital, and Jim Cramer came on. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mad Money, but I was just enthralled by the sports center like environment that the stock market kind of just organically ensues, if you will. And so the competition was there, but it was in business, and so I was able to kind of reapply my love for competition from sports to stocks at the time, and I became through that period really, really involved, and ultimately got really lucky when I first started investing. So that was the same time around right after Facebook was IPOing. I remember they started at $24 and dipped down to, I think it was like $17 at one point. And I remember getting in around like 19, and similar to Netflix, I was around like 47. So I was probably really, really lucky. And from there, I just realized that, it was always something I was going to love and have a passion for, but I actually didn't think it was going to be a career until I got to engineering school and realized that I might not be the best engineer on the block. I was sitting in Calculus 3, and I remember it came so naturally to my professor and some of the kids around me. And for me, I was studying like twice, maybe 3 times as long as they were. And I was like, this is my hint. I think that, in order to find my way, I think I need to go back to what I'm good at. And the only thing I really realized that I knew was kind of financial markets. That was kind of a hobby that I wanted to self-educate myself. And so while I was in engineering school, I got an internship actually at Northwestern Mutual, where I ended up surpassing the sales goals needed to become a full-time representative and get my Series 7 and Series 66 financial licenses. So as a freshman in college, I was also a registered investment representative is what it's called. So I was a registered investment advisor working with financial planning and, looking at different types of portfolios based off of risk tolerances and time horizons and things of that nature. And it really just sucked me in, and I couldn't go back.
So were you raised in an environment that had this strong interest in finance, or do you feel like it was just something that you grew interested in on your own?
No. So I guess my brother, he's 3 years older than me, was the first one in our family to go in finance. My whole other side of the family is a bunch of farmers and construction workers, and the greatest people, but they different industries, so different skill sets as well. So I guess I'm the first one to deviate from the construction / real estate route, and I guess I'm more of a computer geek as well. So I'm taking the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
So cool. I love that. I love how that happens with, people kind of come from these totally opposite interests in their family. And
it was that Calc 3 class, really. It was
yeah. So you have experience in raising capital. What was the first experience for you? Because I think it's interesting for some of our entrepreneurs, listeners that are either raising money themselves for a new startup or are looking to others to raise money. And I notice there's a lot of fear around that. Can you tell us about like your first experience raising capital that really put you into this like feeling of confidence?
Right. So as I mentioned before, when I was working at Northwestern Mutual, the end of my sophomore year, I was contacted by an upcoming startup, a tech startup, that specialized in alumni engagement. It was a mobile application, and they were moving to desktop, and they had a really great idea, and they were, really, really great at selling the product, but they didn't understand how to raise capital. So right after taking the Series 766, I was kind of naturally, he was one of my friends as well, so one of the guys that he would go to start asking questions, and I started being able to advocate for the company, and I actually believed in it, so I gave him a modest investment and started telling others. And when I realized their response, I knew that there was something special, because I wouldn't have invested in myself if I didn't believe in it, and I knew that there was true potential behind the dream and the vision. And so I saw that it'd be very easy to help them raise capital, and ultimately they saw my skill sets, and they reached out to me and said that they were raising, at the time it was $250,000. And so, within the first couple of weeks, I was able to secure from various high net worth individuals reaching around in my network that I think it was around $75,000. And then I found one more investor that provided the seed, if you will, to the rest of the remaining $250,000. So that was like our first step through the door. And right after that point, we received call from 500 startups, where we were accepted into 500 startups Mountain View office, batch 13. And it was really exciting. We all were moving out, going to San Francisco, and we were going to live in a house together. We were going to get 6 of us actually in a 2-bedroom apartment. And my co-founder, he's also my roommate, but we shared the living room. So he would get the couch, and I had a blow-up air mattress. And for 8 months, I helped this company, grow their finance department and raise capital. So in total, throughout the experience, we raised about $1.2 million, and I exited the firm in order to start TechMeetsTrader, my current company, with my co-founder. I wish them the best. They're a great group of guys, and it was a great first step through the door and a capital raise for me, and kind of seeing the intricacies of convertible notes and convertible debt, and how that plays into effect for future rounds and various cap situations. And yeah.
So what are some of the things that you, if you were to raise again, what were some of the takeaways that you would do the same, or some things that you would do differently?
Right. So I would say that the biggest thing I would consider is the overall contribution of the investor to the firm. It's raising capital in the traditional sense of what most startups think of is actual investment, in exchange for some share or percent of ownership, or the right to purchase shares in the future of ownership. And that's equity is the most expensive form of financing, which is contrary to popular belief, right? If you can establish a business that's cash flowing, at least one stream of cash flow, you can scale that, you can show and leverage that, right? Interest rates today are so low that, a lot of times it makes sense to go and take a business loan out if you guys can qualify, which is difficult, right? And so the traditional path is, you want to start having the validation of a seed investor and start moving your way up to a Series A and, actual equity rounds. And that's kind of the natural progression of companies that are going IPOs. But what I feel is undervalued is, what people look at as their only source of financing, which is really should be themselves in the business. And so I wouldn't caution against getting capital, but it's a partnership that I would make sure that people are aware that it's not just a check, that, it's a system of checks and balances at that point, and you have responsibility, a fiduciary responsibility to those investors, even if they are minority stake. And because, at least for me, I never want to have to look across the table and say, I lost you money, right? So having that integrity as an entrepreneur is pretty difficult. You don't see it a lot, but it's what makes people successful, and that integrity piece of, I'm not going to let you down, and I'm going to do everything I can to accomplish what I'm telling you I will, which doesn't always happen. It's a humbling experience.
Yeah. And I think it's really refreshing to hear that, because, I think there's still people in their later 50s and 60s that are raising capital, and it is all about the check, and they overlook the overall contribution. Like you said, what other value do they bring? Because it is a partnership, and it's not just about that check. And I think later on you'll see the results of that when it is just the check.
Right, 100%. And they're going to be the first ones that are asking for distribution in a later equity round, or dividends. They're going to push you to start distributing dividends maybe when you're trying to grow their firm and reinvest the cash flows. So it's things in the future where people get sometimes nearsighted, and instead of making, I'm going to sleep on the floor with my 6 best friends, and we're going to, eat, sleep, and live together, and make this dream come to a reality together. It's not as glorious, but at the end of the day, it helps build a better business, because you guys are all in sync, and it really, really solidifies the team and the vision. And also it teaches you how to be lean, which is ultimately, you don't want to be wasting other people's money anyways, because it's the most expensive form of financing, right? So
of course. Yeah, really, really building that foundation, because you always have that to fall back on. Whereas if it crumbles at the top and you didn't do that, then you're kind of going down.
Exactly. No one wants to have one of those conversations.
No.
No, that's definitely not the goal.
So let's talk about leadership. And
okay.
I know you're a competitive guy. I happen to love competition. I think it's a good thing. It's what allows us to innovate new things. Let's talk about being competitive, and do you think that that's necessary to be a good leader?
100%. You need to hate losing just as much as you love winning. I'm sure it's a cliche. People have heard it before, but it's not just the victory and the celebration. That's kind of the glory, right? But also love the journey. The journey of the competition, when you're head to head and you're battling for market share, or to let's say get new users and grow your user base or something of that nature. It's a constant strategical battle that you're going through.
So I know, like, a lot of people will say, try to put everyone, let's be fair, let's be equal, and competition is not necessarily a good thing to them.
Right.
How would you argue that it is?
It's all about incentive. It's about empowering your team. So it's really not about saying I'm the captain and I call the shots. That's not true leadership, right? So when you think of the competition, you want it to be healthy. You want it to be kind of self-fostering. You don't want to put pressure on others. You want to have people want to perform well, right? So you don't want to have to tell people or provide an environment that's like a pressure cooker where people get overstressed and they don't perform optimally. But you want people to want to succeed because it's in their best interest, because it makes them feel empowered, because they're working towards a better mission, right? And so by helping coach those individuals to be that person, you are a leader and things get done, right? But your team also gets better. They learn more and ultimately become more productive. Um, one of my buddies, Brandon Vega, is a perfect example, where he started off as just researching oil, right, and now he's trading every day in the markets alongside us, running marketing campaigns, helping do video campaigns, and he had zero experience before. And it was just because he was able to jump into those situations, adapt, and execute, and also have the competition of, I don't want to fail because this is our lives, that's in our hands, right? So you make it a team vision, and it's not just you as an individual, you as a leader, it's us as a team, and it's more motivating that way. When as a team, you guys are competing together against whatever purpose you're trying to overcome.
And I love that you're saying this, because I think it's so important for people to recognize. Sometimes people view competition as something that's going to tear a team apart, or it's something where you look at your competitors in business and, it's like, ooh, stay away from them. When actually your competitors can, really be collaborators with you. And I think it actually brings you all closer in terms of achieving that big goal, and whatever industry that is. If somebody else is doing something better than we are, well, then great. That's just going to make us want to do better, and then it's going to make them want to do better. And all we're doing is creating something better for the world.
Right, 100%. And that's why we should be doing what we're doing, and whatever we are doing that's the whole purpose, right? It's something that can have longevity, build a legacy, and ultimately represent your name in the future, right, for other generations. So by having that mentality, everyone gets there, at least in what traditionally people think of as the American dream.
So true. So who are some of the influencers that inspire you in your role in leadership?
In leadership in particular, I would have to say my father. He's my idol. I mean, I watched him grow from a very young age. He started a construction firm with his father. He was there with 6 employees. They started it, and my dad was in college working and wiring houses and things of that nature, and took a company from 10, 15 people to now he's managing projects and huge projects with over 2,000 people underneath him, whether it's subcontractors or direct employees, things of that nature, working on projects under his type of control. So seeing the way in which he empowers others, motivates others, and grows them and embraces them as family, it's amazing. I hadn't really, especially in our generation, you don't see people that are excited to stay at a firm for a long period of time, and he's able to do that. And he's not only just a leader, but he's also a great father, right? So he's, for me, the ideal type of individual, and he's had his success in his industry, and I love him and praise him for that. But most importantly, he has the biggest impact around the community around us, whether it's donating things for others, working on a project without taking a profit, just for the fact of giving back to the community, right? It's the things like that really show the integrity, and that it's more than just how big you can grow your company and what your profit margins are. It's really what are the values you can help and the families you can support and take along the journey with you.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you find yourself, as you get older and you go through, your experiences, you appreciate it even more.
Right, 100%. And through failures the most, I would say, when you feel like everything is gonna come to an end in a moment's instant, and you sit there as an entrepreneur banging your head against the wall, it's kind of daunting, and like, wow, how can he do it and I can't? But with things like that, by being competitive and saying, well, no, he did it, I can do it too, and there's no difference, and just kind of refusing to lose, and accepting no for an answer, and really gets you to the next step in the problem solving phase. And so, yeah, it's been great to be able to fail and have him support me and coach me as well. We're cross country, and we've been cross country for the past 3 years, but we still talk every day, and he's definitely helps strategize and coach me through managing my life and operations and things of that nature. Because I'm getting the business cycle and the whole CEO thing down for the most part, but my schedule handling and my emails and things of that nature, I could improve on for sure. So we all are growing in our own way.
Well, what's so cool is that we learn from our own, failures or whatever you want to call them. But like you also, for the parents out there listening, is that I think sometimes parents try to conceal their failures in front of their children, and yet actually that can be some of the most important lessons that they learn is how you deal with those failures and how you problem solve. So it's so cool that you have that relationship. I think that's what makes a truly good influencer is how they deal with that, because it's wonderful to see somebody, completely having success after success, but it's so much more powerful to see how they've made those successes from failures.
Right, 100%.
So let's talk about TechMeetsTrader and kind of give us like the run through of what it is and how it's the first of its kind and why you decided to start this.
Right. So TechMeetsTrader is a social community for stock and option investors. We're a platform where we allow investors and self-directed active investors to create their own groups. They have chat rooms. They have a trade feed where they can post their entry and exit positions alongside the supporting analysis of each trade. So what's happened is as technology's advanced, there used to be traditional trading pits where you'd see active investors going, working for an institution, and they're looking up at look up at screens or boards, and they're trading on the spot. Where now, given technology with 2000 tech boom, everything's moved to the online realm, if you will. So the retail industry has experienced a massive growth spurt, and it's providing a fragmented industry nonetheless, because no one's really found a way to consolidate and organize it and really alter and cater to the specific at-home trader who's isolated staring at a wall of screens. And so that's why we created our platform, where we're in the crosshairs between online brokers, education, and social media. And we really do a full encompassing service. So for those that are looking for education, our most proprietary feature, what makes us different as well, the combination is we have live screencasted trading, where we partner with companies and they actually onboard their user base, and we host a chat room and their live screencasted charts in real time for the moderators to trade live, teach others. And they also post entry and exit positions and things of that nature. So it's the true essence of learning and while you're earning, and it's all for free, which is great. And it's definitely a growing beast, but I'm really excited that it's going the way it's going. And we've launched actually only 2 months ago, and in the first 2 months of our TechMeetsTrader's existence, we had over almost 2,000 users, almost 2,000 users already sign up. We recorded over 400 hours of live trading screencasts. We've seen over 10,000 direct messages sent throughout our platform, which is, there's a heartbeat, right? So it's really encouraging to see, and especially how hard the team's worked. It's phenomenal to finally have it up and running and being able to have the first product problems and navigate through them smoothly.
So how long ago did you come up with this idea?
So TechMeetsTrader, we came into, I would say in March was our first true essence of the TechMeetsTrader, first line of code rather of TechMeetsTrader.
March of last
March
March. So it's
2016.
okay.
Yep. So we at the time had already built a celebrity trading platform. I had met another investor who I was talking to on Facebook actually, and we built him a platform for him and his following because I was following his trades as well, and we were talking about market insights, and I figured that he would be a great income source for him to have his own platform where he could communicate directly to his followers exactly what they want. And so we were trying to solve this problem, and we ended up launching the platform for him, and we were actually doing quite well. We were doing, I think in our first month, we did $8,000 of revenue in our first month. Then it went to 12, and that's when I realized that really it wasn't scalable on the tech side for me because we were only getting a certain percentage. The business deal wasn't right, and I wanted to take the overall analytics that we had learned and we had collected and being able to extrapolate information on and optimize the experience for all retail investors. So at the very beginning, it started with the pitch. Actually, our university pitch day at the University of San Diego, where we won $25,000, and it was a great catalyst for us to really start our next project, which is our final project now. And having a market-ready platform that can handle and scale and quickly iterate on itself. So we've come a long way.
And did you test it before you launched it to the market?
Yes, of course. So we were testing through the entire beta stage. There, we were working with a celebrity investor, and then through the entire build-out phase, we would go on the platform, my team and I, and it was called QA team, and we would report bugs through, at the time we were using Trello, so we would have, our Scrum-like backlogs, and we'd go through each feature, we'd flag different bugs within the feature, and then send it back to our dev and put it in their backlog. It was great. We could comment and track everything. But once we moved to, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jira, we were really able to scale and manage everything through quality assurance a lot more efficiently because we have more people on our team, right? So it's made a lot of sense.
And is this web-based only, or is it an app as well?
So right now it's only web-based. It's fully mobile responsive, with iPads and even TVs, right? So for our live screencasts, you can actually put the charts up on a screen and or TV rather, and it'll be all to scale. Same thing with your phone or tablet, but we do not have a mobile application. We have that back end for it, and it's coming soon, but we don't have a release date yet.
So I have so many questions because I know so many of our audience will have these questions. Finding the right dev team.
Yes.
Tell us your experience, if you can, as much as you can, and how you landed on the right one.
Right. So I actually was contacted through LinkedIn. And everyone gets contacted if you have I'm sure as you well know, Summer, title as a CEO, everyone gets contacted. If you have an executive title, everyone wants to just send you emails and try to connect and, build business relationships. And so I went through about 17 different firms, sourcing firms, and I was receiving quotes from all over, from $15 an hour to $250 an hour, and then I wanted to do more of a monthly fixed fee, and so we were start negotiating through that per developer based off their skill sets. And I found this one firm that had contacted me, which is always great because that they want to do business with you. And I gave her the opportunity. We had a meeting, and The one differentiator for her firm was that she allowed us to try out 2 developers for 1 week completely free, and we gave them projects based off of our code stack and our environment, and their areas of expertise, and we had them complete those assignments within the week to audit their code. So it turned out that the developers that we had were great. We hired one of them, the other one didn't get hired, and then the next time we were getting more developers, we did the same process over and over, and it worked really well for us because we were able to ensure that the code was of quality, the logic was good and efficient, and everything worked the way it should. And our CTO, he's phenomenal. I mean, when it comes to computers, oh my goodness, he builds them, he codes them, he teaches them through AI. You name it, this guy he's a freak.
Wow. And did you have a CTO before you had your dev team?
Yes. So my CTO is actually my co-founder, Albert Frimpong. And he is he's my day one business partner. From the capital raise at our old firms, I hired him actually there while we were both at the University of San Diego, and I had only known that he knew computer programming because he was in my fraternity, and everyone was talking about the applications that he had built. So when we combined forces, it was truly powerful because my experience was in finance and his was in technology, and it wasn't until I went through Coding Dojo, which is a software boot camp in Silicon Valley. It's in Mountain View, I believe. And I went through a 3-month program where I learned 3 different dev stacks and actually learned how to think like a software engineer. No, I will not call myself one. Developer, I can do some things. I'm actually much better when I'm coding on the market and financial exchanges than I am building a web-based application. But it's really great to have Al to lean on because, like I said before, he when it comes to auditing and most efficient code, he's your guy.
What advice do you have to those who have an idea? You had your idea about a year ago or so, and how you have your baby. And I'm gathering some things have shifted and changed along the way. What advice do you have for people at that idea stage before entering into the getting a CTO if they don't already have one and hiring a dev team?
The best advice I would have to say, Summer, honestly, is that they need to look at themselves first. And they need to look at themselves as a toolbox and kind of decipher what skills that they have and what skills they're going to need to accomplish their goal. If someone that has a significant interest in the business, whether it's your co-founder or someone that you give significant equity to or you pay a large cash balance for, which is unlikely as an idea stage, right? So equity type co-founder, it's typically ideal. The advice I'd say is look at yourself like a toolbox and evaluate, can you get the job done and execute based off what you know and what you're good at? And if the answer is no, well, then you have some learning to do. And there's no shame in getting a job at one of those firms and learning that skill and becoming the best at it so that you can succeed in the marketplace. But it's really, really important to be able to do it all. Whatever business you're in, you need to be able to coach and walk through every portion so that you have a good understanding of the underlying business, how everything operates, your opportunity through your code base, and how you can actually, at least if you're in software, the opportunity your code base provides just through the stack itself. People they undervalue the technology that's out there and the different combinations of let's say different stacks and technologies. So we use graph databases and AI to help optimize our experience, but without having the understanding of let's React Native, and then let's say Cypher queries or some. Right, you can talk about some technical stuff here, but without having an understanding of how it all works, it's very difficult to move forward in the next portion or iterate when things go wrong, or solve a problem when a problem occurs. So as a leader, as a CEO, you know that that's already your job, right? That's what we do. We put out fires all day.
Right.
And so you need to be able to put out the fire.
So when you're first developing this platform, how do you keep yourself from, I'm trying to remember that term where, like people want so many features and they think of what it's going to look like 5 years from now.
The Steve Jobs syndrome.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what we call it with our team.
Right. And I've been through this process as well, where it's like, oh, you want it to do this, you want it to do that. But ultimately you also know that in order to have a successful beta testing and launch, it needs to be as simple as possible. And you can always, platforms are always going to evolve into something better based on your users and the feedback that they give you. How
Right.
Did you go through that experience?
I would say we did 100%. Not in the sense where we had Steve Jobs that were trying to innovate crazy features or anything on the platform, but more in the sense of trying to get everyone to articulate what's wrong in their eyes, because everyone that we are working with on the QA side, which is the quality assurance team, they're also traders. So we all are trading every day in the market. So our whole team, we're multifaceted. We do, it all. The three of us on the business side do the marketing. We do, the email campaigns. We'll do landing pages. Also, we trade, right? So that's what we're best at. And so being that that's our audience, we are our true audience, like just by nature, we were able to say as a user, this is what I like and what I don't like. And so everything that you'll see actually that goes to our developers and it gets, let's say, through our QAing process is in the terms as a user, as a visiting user, as an affiliate partner on TechMeetsTrader, so and so and so. I want to be able to fix my, let's say, password by clicking this link and this, and so by articulating the problem in from the user's perspective, which was really us. It really drew the connection between the developers and the business team, so that it was a really, really smooth flow of communication, and there wasn't any, let's say, Steve Jobs moments, but it was all, this is what we need to accomplish, and here's the problem that as a user I'm having, and the engineering team, they love this problem solving, right? So they're like, okay, this is your problem, great, let's find a solution. And for them, they have fun with that because they're challenged and they say, okay, this is great. Or, they're annoyed because their code breaks, but that happens as part of
Okay, so now, assuming, you're at the phase of, okay, we've got this great beta, we're ready to launch, and we're super happy with how the platform runs now. And also assuming that you're a great marketer. Like it sounds like you're the expert in your field, so you know exactly who you're talking to and what language to use. Beyond the messaging, in terms of bringing it to market, what would you attribute to the success of gaining so many users and so much engagement in such a short time?
Right. So in such a short time, when I mentioned earlier that we raised funds, there was a snowball effect, and we were able to raise obviously more for our own team. And we actually had the ability to hire a marketing firm called Power Digital Marketing out of San Diego. They're a digital marketing agency, and
who's awesome, and hence how we got connected.
Yes.
By the way, yeah, we love Power Digital.
Shout out to Power Digital and the team, and so they really helped us build a foundation to, retarget users and coach us how to take our external delivery network and funnel users into our product to not only get users, but also keep users and grow users. And that's really what you want to do as a business, right? And they really help solidify those funnels and get everything set so that we could replicate the process. Because, when it's your first time going through the through and through, you want to have the experts do it. And so by having those that knew what they were doing, the experts set up the foundation, it saved us so much time. That now it's just management. So it was definitely a good decision of asking for help, which our school actually connected us through. Yeah, it was great, social media for us, I guess in particular, there's little growth hacks, I guess, that are along the way that, it's not just hire a marketing firm and all your problems will be solved, but they help provide the foundation, and then it's your job to find what I call the growth hacks, which pretty much everyone calls it growth hacks these days. But essentially what we did was we would gather email campaigns in advance. So we wanted to build a landing page with a large database beforehand, obviously to build up the hype. Our social accounts, what we did was we were boosting through engaging with other users, liking things and commenting other posts and things of that nature. Those strategies to increase your audience before you even launch, and then when you do, you better have a specific strategy to actually funnel these users from inactive, warm leads to active leads that are going to become your biggest advocates. So it was finding little chinks along the way, and I guess optimizing through various services and things of that nature to really accomplish the through and through of the funnels.
That's awesome. And that's such great advice. And it's really about getting prepped before bringing it out.
Right, 100%. Because a lot of people, they want to jump into market. And it amazes me these days
and they expect so much right when they do.
and they're so excited they can't even take the time to fully QA their product. They're so excited. They want to get it up and running and they want to be that next billionaire so fast. But what they don't do is take the necessary time to ensure and deliver quality, to make sure that the first impression with their users that they have is the best impression they could possibly put forth. Because it's a lot harder to ask for forgiveness than it is to say I'm sorry, right? So when you can apologize to users and say, come back, please interact with me or buy something from me or whatever your call to action is, please come, whatever. But if they don't genuinely want to click that button and that link in the call to action at that instance because they like your brand from the onset, then you're in big trouble. So take the time, develop your marketing campaigns, your overall base as a business, find out where your niche is and how you're going to articulate it to everyone. And then when you think you're ready, wait a couple months and test it.
Yes, exactly. And taking that time actually, creates shortcuts, believe it or not, and saves you more time.
Exactly. Automate the process that, you want to have. For our team, we have a webinar service where we partner with affiliates and we onboard the user base. We host a live trading screencast and, the group chats. And so for us, we were scheduling one by one with our affiliate partners, helping them for 10 minutes download the software. It only took 10 minutes to download the software and get everything set up because we were coaching and teaching them as well. And we realized wow, this is just very inefficient. We could totally just be automating this entire process. So we build that, and it just builds you value in the next stage of your product, because now you can optimize and have other funnels outside of that main drip. And you can have spigots, let's say, it's just the evolution of the product, right? And it's always just constantly has to be optimizing.
You are incredibly wise for how old? 24?
Yeah. Well,
I know so many people who have gone through, so many. Well, anyways, it's just awesome where you're at, and I love the mindset that you're in.
Thank you. I think honestly the biggest thing that's kind of opened my eyes, where most people maybe aren't as let's say practical, we were in 500 startups. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, Summer, but right now it's known as one of the top VCs in Silicon Valley for early stage seed stage startups. And so we had 32 companies from around the world. 16 were from different countries, and it was 16 were from internal, but all over scattered throughout. And the amount of companies still saying today, was shocking. Even 3-4 months after the program had finished, it was amazing to see the routes that some entrepreneurs took and the decisions that they made and their leadership styles and the way that they manage their business, and kind of see it on a firsthand basis of what to do and what, most importantly, not to do. That was the best learning experience, was learning what not to do. Yeah, I don't know what to do still sometimes, but when I know not what to do, then I can pretty much ensure that I'm going to make a lot better decision.
Yeah. That sounds like a heck of an experience you should write about.
I know, right? There's so much. It's not enough time.
So who's the ideal customer or user for TechMeetsTrader? Should they be at a certain level in their trading experience, or who's your ideal?
So our community by nature is anyone that's really participating in the financial markets. We customize to active investors, which we quantify as 1 to 3 investments a month, to active traders who are making between 3 and 10 trades a month, and then the hyperactive traders that are making 10 to 50 trades, even 100 trades a month. So we kind of segmented our features based off of what would be great for each one of those communities, and we put it into a very organized Facebook-like platform where it allows users to go into and find niches that they want to go and learn about, whether it's retirement, right, and managing your 401k or IRA, or if it's learning about dividend strategies or trading options, futures, bonds, you name it, even implied volatility, swing trading. There's so many different areas and topics of finance where people find unclear. And, when you're in the industry, it kind of seems ridiculous that other people don't know it, and because it seems so practical and basic. But the reality is people don't know this stuff. People are paying expensive management fees at financial institutions for wealth management and investment advisory services. And when all the information is available, to the public currently, everything that we get, we write a couple scripts and pulling like quant data, but otherwise, like pretty much everything that's based on our investment decisions every day are based on public open information. And there's no different than other people that want to be, self-directed and control their own destiny. It's the same concept of being an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur. You're managing a business as a trader. Right? So anyone that is participating and looking for extra income, whether it's, you have a part-time job and, we have people that are in their lunch break come during very specific times of the day because they're trading during the lunch break and they want to have people to talk to and see what's moving in the market. And we also have people that are sitting on our platform doing live trading webinars in chat rooms from 5 a.m. Well, I guess that's East or Pacific time. So it would be from 8 a.m. Eastern time until 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So pretty much all day, it's a daily tool for them. So it's kind of what each user wants to make it. We're working on building, more for every single type of investor. But really, if you have any interest in financial markets, you want to learn more about how to find maybe an edge that fits your time horizons or risk tolerance. We're the community that really ties everything together, and we're free. So that's the catch for the kicker, if you will, for our users is you have nothing to lose by trying to reach out and ask for help and starting a community and starting a conversation. So.
Well, I would imagine for those that are trading, whether it's full-time, part-time, I think when you're doing it, like you said, it could be you're alone a lot of the time, in your office, just by yourself or wherever you have your everything set up. And to be able to have this type of community just is awesome. So it sounds like you've really answered a problem that I'm sure a lot of these people have been waiting for.
Yeah, the feedback's been amazing. People are reaching out, and I don't think I've ever had even a girlfriend treat me this nicely. I mean, it's great. You wake up because we're Pacific time, right? And so the futures market opens at 5 a.m. and we have one client that his entire user base comes in and starts trading futures around 5:15, 5:30 a.m. our time. So our whole team has to be there, right? And it is ridiculous. It's a blast. We love it, and everyone's there. We as a team, we're always happy to help each other learn, help others profit. So it's good and gratifying to see that you get to help people and see other people's successes and watch them grow without really having to, necessarily do anything or just pointing them in the right direction. It's a great environment.
Well, I'm so excited, and especially with how you treat your clients, how they're treating you. I'm excited to see where this goes and how it evolves as the years go.
Appreciate that.
In the meantime, where can people find more information about you and about TechMeetsTrader? I think it's TechMeetsTrader.com.
It is. It's TechMeetsTrader.com. www.TechMeetsTrader.com too works. And any mobile browser, any desktop, you can go through and experience the entire platform. My name is Warren Lorenz. You can be sure to send me a friend request and reach out to me there if you have any questions or, I'm not allowed to offer specific investment advice, but, I can help navigate you to whatever, you may be interested in finding your solution. And we have a whole team that's, looking forward to meeting more investors and people that are participating and learning and growing and earning together. So TechMeetsTrader.com. For me, I have a LinkedIn profile you can reach out to too. But if you want to contact me directly, the best way is through the platform.
Awesome. And we'll have links to your LinkedIn and, of course, TechMeetsTrader platform. And Warren, this has been awesome. So many takeaways just in leadership, raising money, building a new platform, being an entrepreneur, all kinds of good stuff. So I really, really appreciate it. And thank you so much for sharing your experience and all that you're up to with us.
Thank you, Summer. Thank you for having me, and best of luck to you and the team. And I look forward to learning more about, the Draw Shop.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to today's Get Genius. You can learn more about the Draw Shop at www.thedrawshop.com on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Your home for kick-butt custom whiteboard marketing videos. Your ideas come to life. Thanks for listening. Please share, comment, and make any suggestions for future Genius guests.